Okay. All right. I want to welcome everybody to the first virtual awards ceremony. This is this 2020 Samuel Thompson Charles Davis Award Foundation Awards reception. As many meetings these are happening these days are on virtual, we have hopefully this will run well and we'll get a chance to recognize everybody and family will be able to participate. Before we get started, we're going to begin with I want to introduce our new CEO, Dr. Francisco Uzal, who's going to give us a brief overview of what the foundation is up to now. Dr. Uzal?
Okay. Thank you, Annette. Let me share my screen. Yep. Can people see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Good afternoon or good evening or whatever it is for you in your part of the world, everyone. I'm Paco Uzal. I'm the CEO of the Davis-Thompson Foundation. And some of you that attended the great seminar we had today with Dr. Brian Murphy and Cindy Bell might have heard me, and if that's the case, feel free to relax for a few minutes. This is the same presentation. So what we do is to further the international advancement of education in veterinary and comparative pathology. And that's what we do. For many, many years, we did this face-to-face, but this year I don't need to tell people that given the circumstances, we had to switch to virtual, and we did. And with great success, if I may say so, we had the great majority of our traditional courses. We had our descriptive pathology course. We had the POLA. And if that wasn't enough, we added Fridays, free seminars. Almost every Friday of the year, starting in May, we have had free seminars. Twice a month, we have on Tuesdays, full day seminars. We put together a Brazilian series, not because it's Brazil, just because of the language. They are in Portuguese. We organize monthly Australian seminars. Once again, they are open to everyone, but they were in an Australian friendly time. So people in that part of the world didn't have to be up in the middle of the night. We had several of Latin American meetings, and very recently we had our first virtual European meeting. Many of these courses offer race credits and ACVP maintenance of certification credits. We work together with ACVP that co-sponsored 2 of our seminars. We are very proud of this collaboration. And this is a map that I wanted to show people. This is just an example. This is our diagnostic poultry pathology seminar that Dr. Assis did for us on October the 3rd. And look at the world. We had people all over the place. In North America, Central America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australasia. We are very, very proud. We had close to 1,000 people registered for this particular seminar. And all this thanks to the great work that our webinar committee, this is a committee that was formed this year, has been doing under the fierce leadership of Rachel Neto that you can see there in the center. So thank you very much, webinar committee. We are very active in social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and this is, as you can see, because of my age, not thanks to me. This is thank you to Rafaela Di Negri, that's a wonderful job putting the foundation in social media. We continue with our newsletter. Stephanie Schroeder and Javier Asin are in charge. We come out every month with the newsletter. Thank you, Stephanie and Javier. We continue with our diagnostic exercises. These were created a little bit more than 10 years ago by the Latin Comparative Pathology Group, which is the Latin American division of the Davis-Thompson Foundation. We are at exercise 151, and for most of these 10 years, Vini Carreira was the editor-in-chief. And this year we are very proud to announce Dr. Claudio Barros. Any Latin American will recognize the name immediately. Claudio is a legend of Latin American pathology. Thank you, Vini and Claudio, for this great achievement. We continue with the training aids subdivision. Thank you, Tiffany Lyle. This session that you're attending is the honors and awards session. This is a traditional, usually in-person session at each ACBP. This year, Annette worked very, very hard, and she made it online. Thank you, Annette. Annette, I wanted a picture of yourself, but you've never let us take pictures of you, so sorry. Couldn't put your picture.
Yeah, I try very hard not to.
I know you do, yeah. So this year, after many, many years, Vladi Rak stepped down as treasurer for the foundation, and Dr. Bruce Williams, that was the CEO for many, many years too, took over as new treasurer. Thank you, Vladi, and thank you, Bruce. And 2021 is just around the corner. We are planning great activities. All our regular courses are being planned. So the general pathology, gross pathology, descriptive pathology, and then all our seminars. So please stay tuned, check your social media, and you will see us. And with this, thank you very much. And back to you, Annette.
Thank you, Dr. Rizal. Before we get started, I just want to make two announcements so everybody knows. We're going to start with the Pathology Training and Scholarship Award. This was what used to be called, for those of you who have been around for a while, the Student Scholarship Award, but we feel the new name is a little bit more in keeping with what is actually happening. But as before, not only will there be a plaque, which in these circumstances now will be actually individually mailed to you in the next couple of weeks, but you will also get an email which will give you an application form and a letter which entitles you to a year's free membership in the foundation. But that doesn't start, but you probably don't want to start that until after you've finished either or both your residency and any graduate work you do, because you remain an institutional member of whatever university you're with until you graduate. All right, with that, let's get started. Our first awardee in the Pathology Training and Scholarship Awards is from Auburn University, Dr. Emily Brinker. A Maryland native, Dr. Brinker received her bachelor's from St. Mary's College of Maryland and her DVM from St. George's University. She's doing her clinical rotations at the Ohio State University. At Auburn, she is currently in her 4th year of a combined anatomic pathology residency and biomedical science PhD. She's pursuing her research under the guidance of principal investigator Dr. Emily Graff, where her work focuses on the physiology of feline FG21, particularly focusing on the effects of FG21 and FG21 analogs on lipid accumulation and storage. Emily has been dedicated to the physical and psychological enrichment and well-being of her cats on a daily to weekly basis since the start of her project. She has been an energetic leader in the residence-driven activities such as rounds and journal club, and her enthusiasm and quirky sense of humor are always uplifting to those around you. Congratulations, Emily. One point also that the biographies that we are reading are submitted by the faculty of each university when they nominate their awardee. Our next awardee is from Colorado State University. This is Dr. Adam Harris. During Adam's residency, he has pursued multiple opportunities to expand his clinical knowledge, develop his teaching style, and conduct multiple research experiments. He has given multiple case-based and didactic lectures while at CSU and involved as a teacher. Most recently, he led a bone marrow workshop for the anatomic and clinical pathology residents. Additionally, he has completed multiple projects surrounding his primary interest in hematopoietic disorders / neoplasms. His work over the past 3 years at CSU has resulted in 3 platform presentations at multiple ACVP conferences, co-authorship of a book chapter, publication of 2 manuscripts, as well as 3 other manuscripts that are currently in review. He was awarded the ASDCP Young Investigator Award 2018 for his work in monoclonal protein quantification using densitometry. This year, he mentored a veterinary students project for submission in the ACVP student poster presentation, which characterizes monoclonal proteins in a B-cell chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Congratulations, Dr. Harris. The next awardee is from Cornell University. It's Dr. Christy Rosie Gonzalez Barrientos. Dr. Barrientos joined joined Cornell from the Animal Health National Service in Costa Rica, where she has served as a staff pathologist. Prior to that, she served as a clinical instructor in pathology at the National University School of Veterinary Medicine in Costa Rica. Dr. Barrientos has a strong interest in infectious disease, especially those diseases that are at the interface of public and wildlife. She's widely published with papers involving a wide range of animal species, including Caribbean sharp-nosed pufferfish, vampire bats, and numerous marine mammals. She currently serves as a chief resident at Cornell, while she interfaces with other hospital residents and helps improve morale and communication. Rocio is a hard worker, a great colleague, and a strong advocate for the program. She is an excellent diagnostic pathologist and is more than deserving of this award. Those at Cornell that nominated her are excited to see where her career takes her next. Congratulations to Dr. Barrientos. And the next awardee is from Iowa State University. This is Dr. Ye Mei Chen. Dr. Chen graduated from the National Pingtung University of Science and Technology, Taiwan, in 2007 with her DVM. After graduation, she worked as a government veterinarian for 4 years, after which she pursued her master's degree in veterinary medicine at the National Taiwan University, investigating tissue trophism and the infectivity of porcine testrovirus. During this time, she published her research findings in porcine testrovirus in Veterinary Microbiology Journal. Simultaneously, she worked as a resident veterinarian in pathology at the same institution. In 2017, she received a Taiwan government fellowship to study abroad and began a combined PhD in anatomic pathology residency program in the Department of Veterinary Pathology at Iowa State University. She joined Dr. Eric Burroughs' laboratory at the start of her program, and her research focuses on porcine epidemic diarrhea virus infection in weaned pigs. She investigates molecular and cellular pathogenesis of PEDV in weaned piglets and the subsequent impact on innate intestinal immunity and epithelial integrity during restitution of the disease. Yao Mei has demonstrated outstanding motivation and perseverance in her studies and duties as a combined resident and graduate student, has authored multiple research papers and abstracts. In her spare time, Yao Mei enjoys running and hiking and plans on pursuing a career in academia and research following her residency. Congratulations, Dr. Chen. Our next awardee is from the Johns Hopkins University is Dr. Lauren Pfeiffer. We are pleased to nominate Lauren Pfeiffer, a recent graduate of Johns Hopkins, from the Comparative Pathology Residency Program here at Johns Hopkins for the Charles Lewis Davis DVM, oops, never mind, sorry. During her time with us, Lauren has shown herself to be incredibly hardworking, intelligent, and a natural teacher for our more junior residents. She was able to pass ACVP boards on the first try while in the midst of her research for a PhD thesis in the laboratory of Dr. Karen Svanos. Lauren is currently preparing her thesis on the influence of gut microbiome on prostate cancer and will soon be finishing up her PhD in the cellular and molecular medicine graduate program at Johns Hopkins. We look forward to great things from her in the future. Congratulations, Dr. Pfeiffer.
Congratulations, Dr. Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer, I am so sorry. Yes, Pfeiffer, Kansas State University. Dr. Miranda Froelich is our next awardee. Dr. Froelich's interest in veterinary pathology started during her veterinary training at Midwestern University College of Veterinary Medicine, where she participated in research under the mentorship of Valerie Wong, DVM, PhD, DACVP. Subsequently, Miranda joined the clinical pathology team at Kansas State University as a resident. During residency, she has gained a reputation as an excellent teacher among senior veterinary students in the diagnostic medicine clinical rotation. Miranda is a deep thinker, consistently applying pathophysiology to clinical presentations and facilitating broad discussions incorporating relevant literature in comparative pathology. She is concurrently pursuing a graduate education with a thesis-based master's degree in clinical immunology. Kansas State would like to thank Dr. Froelich for her contributions to their program and congratulate her on a well-deserved recognition. Congratulations, Dr. Froelich. Dr. Rizal will be reading the next awardees. First being from Louisiana State.
Okay. Dr. Mariano Carosino received his DVM from the Escuela de Veterinaria Universidad del Salvador, Buenos Aires, Argentina in 2012. He then joined the Equine Virology Unit at the Institute of Virology, National Institute of Agricultural Technology, also in Argentina, where he trained in basic and diagnostic virology. In 2013, he was awarded a Fulbright scholarship and joined the Molecular Virology Laboratory at the GLAC Equine Research Center, University of Kentucky, where he completed his PhD in 2018 in cellular and molecular virology under Dr. Udeni Balasuria's mentorship. Dr. Carosino joined the Anatomic Pathology Residency Program at the Department of Pathobiological Sciences, Louisiana Animal Disease Diagnostic Laboratory in July 2018. In November 2019, he became a diplomate of the American College of Veterinary Microbiologists. During his tenure as an anatomic pathology resident, he has significantly contributed to establishment of the chronic wasting disease testing program at the Louisiana Animal Disease Diagnostic Laboratory in collaboration with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, expanded the capabilities of the immunohistochemistry section, and has continued his research and diagnostic activities. Recently, he was involved with the establishments of SARS-CoV-2 testing in animals and has collaborated in several research projects evaluating the susceptibility of different animal models to SARS-CoV-2 infection. Dr. Carosino is looking forward to continuing his academic career as an assistant professor in the Department of Pathobiological Sciences, Louisiana State University, starting in 2021. Congratulations, Mariano. Next awardee is Dr. Leah Stein, Michigan State University. Dr. Stein is a Michigan State Spartan through and through. She received her bachelor's, master's in public health, and veterinary degrees from Michigan State University before being selected for a 3-year residency in anatomic pathology. She has published papers on canine lymphoma and equine squamous cell carcinoma, as well as learning theory in biology pedagogy. Besides her remarkable pathology skills, intellect, humility, and work ethic, Dr. Stein has been an outstanding mentor for her fellow residents. She loves her dogs and cat, club on pizza, and weightlifting, and is starting a new job at IDEX. Congratulations, Leah. Next awardee is from Mississippi State University, Dr. Natalie Mamaliger. Natalie is a 3rd-year resident in the anatomic pathology residency program at Mississippi State University College of Veterinary Medicine. Dr. Mamalicher is in charge of ophthalmologic pathology rounds this year and was in charge of neuropathology rounds last year, where she coordinates with clinicians and residents from the services to present a broad overview of selected complex or interesting cases that include the clinical presentation, exam findings, biopsy findings, and other diagnostics. She has done multiple presentations at national meetings, including 2 presentations at last year's ACVP conference, both of which were well received. It has been extremely rewarding to watch Dr. Mamalicher mature into a strong and competent pathologist. She has developed and has implemented changes in the residency program and veterinary student program that will continue to improve the learning of the students and residents even after she's gone. The faculty is very proud of Dr. Mamalicher, and they believe that her commitment, enthusiasm, competence, and love of the profession embodies the type of resident that this award was designed to support. Congratulations, Natalie. North Carolina State University, Dr. Hiroyuki Mochizuki. Dr. Mochizuki has an impressive pedigree, which includes receiving his Bachelor of Veterinary Medical Sciences, completion of a small animal internship, a PhD in Veterinary Medical Sciences from the University of Tokyo. His dissertation is titled Clonality Analysis of the Neoplastic Diseases in Cats. Afterwards, Dr. Mochizuki completed a postdoc and residency in clinical pathology at the North Carolina State University College of Veterinary Medicine. Dr. Mochizuki excels in applied research, including test development, one-on-one teaching, and cytology, evaluation, and interpretation. Dr. Mochizuki has received multiple grants and has many publications, including his work on the BRAF mutation assay. When it comes to teaching, small groups and one-on-one interactions are his strengths. Dr. Mochizuki has a lot of experience teaching in the second-year clinical pathology labs and fourth-year clinical pathology rotations. When teaching students, he is very enthusiastic, prepared, and knowledgeable. With this being said, he is fantastic at the microscope. Dr. Mochizuki is comfortable and at his best when teaching veterinary students, interns, and visiting house officers at the microscope. Lastly, Dr. Mochizuki's cytology skills are exceptional and trusted by all. As a mentor and fellow clinician, the person that writes this says, I do not worry about anything being missed when Dr. Mochizuki is on cytology service. Congratulations, Dr. Mochizuki. The next awardee is Dr. Joshua Lorbach from Ohio State University. Over the course of 13 years enrolled as a student at The Ohio State University, Dr. Lorbach earned a BS in Agriculture 2011, DVM 2014, and PhD in Comparative and Veterinary Medicine as part of the combined Veterinary Anatomic Pathology Residency PhD program at The Ohio State University, and this happened in 2020. Dr. Lorbach's dissertation research under the guidance of Dr. Andrew Baumann focused on mitigating public health risk posed by influenza A viruses circulating in swine at the human-animal interface. This work resulted in numerous posters and scholarly presentations delivered at regional, national, and international meetings. He received a Research Travel Award to the 51 AASB Annual Meeting 2020 and the ACVP ASIP Travel Award to Experimental Biology 2019, supporting his work. His dissertation research and collaborative work have resulted in publication of 1 first author and 7 co-author manuscripts, with 5 more currently in preparation or under review. He was an Ohio State University nominee for the 2018 National Phi Zeta Manuscript Award competition based on his manuscript describing detection of PHEV in association with an outbreak of respiratory disease in US exhibition swine. In addition to his routine animal challenge work and the BSL-2 condition, he completed the CEZAD BSL-3 laboratory training transboundary animal diseases summer program at Kansas State University in 2017. Following completion of his PhD, he continued in his lab as a postdoctoral scholar where he was involved in a study assessing a novel SARS-CoV-2 screening technology. He also received funding as a co-investigator to improve current methods of swine depopulation. Dr. Lorbach recently accepted a position as a clinical instructor in anatomic pathology at The Ohio State University. Congratulations, Joshua. And the next awardee is from Oklahoma State University, Erin Staton. Erin was driven and determined to succeed in becoming a veterinary pathologist. While in veterinary school, she first became interested in anatomic pathology. After being in general practice for a couple of years, her desire to pursue pathology training heightened, at which time he actively sought residency training opportunities. She recently and successfully completed her residency training, also in the midst of rearing a young child and with other family obligations. Erin was passionate about teaching pathology concepts to veterinary students during necropsy service duty as well as gross show and tell. She often formulated a thorough interactive discussion and challenged the students to not only remember what they had learned in the veterinary curriculum, but to also understand and apply that knowledge. Additionally, Erin effectively completed a portion of the hepatobiliary and pancreatic lecture series to veterinary students and synthesized assessment questions to test the students' scope of remembrance and comprehension of the concepts. Erin regularly took initiative during her residency training. With a dual interest in research, not only did she work hard to fulfill her duties as a resident, but also occasionally assisted research faculty in the pathobiology department with experimental protocols. Erin has provided oral presentations at the AABLD conference and P Zeta Research Day. She has also co-authored a manuscript and additionally has other manuscripts in progress. During the summer of 2020, coupled with the challenges of COVID-19 and the desire to continue with some resident rounds, she coordinated the virtual meetings for biopsy rounds. Congratulations, Erin. Next awardee, Oregon State University, Teresa Garcia. Teresa graduated from the veterinary school at Colorado State University in 2018. She's currently in the 3rd year of her anatomic pathology residency at Oregon State University. She has special interests in dermatopathology in all species, herd health, large animal pathology, and enjoys teaching students of all levels. During her residency at Oregon State University, Dr. Teresa Garcia has excelled in the realms of diagnostic pathology clinical research and teaching. Now, as a final year resident, Dr. Garcia capably navigates the diagnostic challenges that routinely cross her desk. Those that include a broad range of domestic species, zoo animals, wildlife, aquatics, reptilians, and invertebrates. For clinical research, she has successfully developed techniques for microscopic exam of honeybees, has characterized a series of dogs with epidermolysis bullosa, and contributed to a case series of camelids with sunflower seed toxicosis. For teaching, Dr. Garcia has demonstrated extraordinary dedication and commitment to veterinary students by helping to transition the Oregon State University Diagnostic Services rotation to a remote format during the coronavirus pandemic. She's a valued colleague throughout the Carlson College of Veterinary Medicine and regularly reaches out across disciplines to broaden her expertise and provide the highest level of patient care. She's looking forward to a career in diagnostic pathology in a public or private laboratory. In her spare time as a resident, Dr. Garcia is known for especially heroic mountain bike adventures that include solo traverses of remote parts of the Western USA, fending off bears and dodging mountain lions. Congratulations, Teresa. And I think this goes to Jade, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll be reading out the rest of them. All right, so our next awardee from Purdue University is Dr. Priscilla Serpa. Dr. Serpa is a third-year clinical pathology resident at Purdue with a strong interest in research and academia. Dr. Serpa's background includes a DVM at Universidade Federal do Rio Grande do Sul in Brazil, followed by a Master of Science degree and a PhD degree at the same university. In 2015, she also worked at the University of Adelaide, Australia, as a tutor for veterinary students and for 2 local research projects in equine theriogenology. Lastly, Dr. Serpa served as a postdoctoral research associate at Cornell University for 2 years, where she studied interactions between equine herpes virus 2, endothelial cells, platelets, and leukocytes. Dr. Serpa is an outstanding resident. She is enthusiastic and passionate about teaching and has done exceptional scholarly work. She was responsible for a research project on the direct detection of intraerythrocytic reactive oxidative species in animals and was awarded the ASVCP Share the Future grant with the project Validation of Flow Cytometry-Based Cell and Differential Counts in Chickens. Dr. Serpa is passionate about clinical pathology, and her efforts in the 2 years of residency have resulted in 6 peer-reviewed publications, 5 oral presentations at the ASVCP annual meeting, the first joint Congress of Veterinary Pathology and Veterinary Clinical Pathology at ECVP in the Netherlands, and the annual meeting of the Midwest Association of Veterinary Pathologists. She also presented 8 poster presentations at several conferences. Good job, Dr. Serpa. Congratulations. Our next awardee from Texas A&M is Carolina Acevedo. Dr. Acevedo completed her clinical pathology residency in July 2020 with a master's in biomedical sciences from Texas A&M and accepted a position with Phoenix Lab in Mukilteo, Washington as a diagnostic clinical pathologist. Dr. Acevedo received her Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Sciences from Texas A&M and her Doctor of Veterinary Medicine from Louisiana State University. Ooh, go Tigers. She completed a small animal rotating internship at Auburn University, War Eagle, Small Animal Teaching Hospital, and worked as an oncology specialty intern with affiliated veterinary specialists in Maitland, Florida, and as a veterinary locum with Banfield Animal Hospitals in Orlando prior to accepting the residency position at Texas A&M. During her residency, she completed externships at IDEX, Antec, and the Texas Veterinary Medical Diagnostic Laboratory. She's been active in ASVCP as the ASVCP Resident Liaison Group Spokesperson and was awarded the ACVP Young Investigator Award for first place in diagnostic pathology in November 2019 for her poster Pathologic and Flow Cytometric Features of a Case of Canine Lymphangiosarcoma. Among her many accomplishments, Dr. Acevedo is multilingual, speaking English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Dr. Acevedo has definitely been a great asset to the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences at Texas A&M University. Congratulations, Dr. Acevedo. Our next awardee from University of California, Davis is Dr. Melissa Roy. The 2020 recipient of the C.L. Davis Student Scholarship Award from the University of California, Davis is Dr. Melissa Roy. Mel will complete her 3-year residency training in anatomic pathology in July 2020, which has already passed. So I'm guessing these people were really early and sent this in. Good for them. She joined our residency program after completing her DVM at the University of Minnesota in 2017. When Mel visited our residency program during her interview, she established an instant rapport with our technical staff, residents, and faculty. There was absolutely no doubt that we had found our incoming lab animal track resident. She has an unassuming, self-effacing personality that belies how intelligent she is and how integral she's become to both our diagnostic pathology service and now in the comparative medicine investigations she participates in while at the California National Primate Research Center and the Comparative Pathology Laboratory. As a resident, she's been engaged with the Stanford University School of Medicine's comparative pathology program, both as an extern as well as through running the bi-monthly comparative medicine rounds hosted through UC Davis. No matter where she goes, everyone that Mel interacts with uniformly praises her aptitude for anatomic pathology, her critical thinking abilities, and her sheer eagerness to learn. She is a natural for comparative medicine and pathology, appreciating the nuances of disease across disparate species, but always coming back to her very strong core training in diagnostic pathology. Her ability to relate to and value each individual's contribution in team projects will continue to make her sought after in collaborative research projects, where she's shown remarkable insight and ability to relate investigative pathology to her diagnostic interests, including in her residency research project characterizing the inflammatory response in feline oral squamous cell carcinoma. Over her 3 years in this residency, we've all seen Mel grow into a confident and capable pathologist, gifted at articulating her thought processes and at tackling complex lesions with deft precision. At UC Davis, there is not a faculty member, resident, nor student that has not benefited from working next to her. As Mel moves into her professional career, she will absolutely enrich any program that has an opportunity to work with her, and we congratulate her on this well-deserved award. Congratulations, Dr. Roy. Next, from University of Florida, Dr. Albert John. Albert is not only an incredibly talented pathologist, he's an incredibly kind, caring, and thoughtful person who was an absolute joy to work with as a resident. Somehow, throughout his tenure as resident, Albert seemed inexplicably unfazed by the demands placed on him and approached each assigned task with interest and a smile. While I've encountered others in a residency setting that are able to meet all of the requirements of the position with little stress, I've never met anyone who could also do that while helping raise 2 young children, his 2 daughters, whom he loves dearly, at home. Moreover, Albert took an active role in developing resident-led rounds that will be of benefit for years of residents to come and in shaping an incredibly cohesive group of residents who all work to help each other out. Everyone who worked with Albert during his time at Florida has nothing but the best things to say about their experiences with him and his skills as a budding pathologist. Very nice words. Congratulations, Dr. John. Next, from University of Georgia, Dr. Danielle Leesky. Dr. Leesky received her DVM from University of California, Davis in 2017. She then completed an anatomic pathology residency at the University of Georgia in 2020. During her time in the program, Danielle was active in seeking out opportunities to expand her training. She coordinated many organ-based advanced studies for publication. In addition, she was a key player in the advancement of digital pathology within the residency program, especially recognizing the value of this modality for virtual learning. Danielle has taken on numerous leadership roles, including the unofficial IT helper for the resident mates and faculty, SOP writer for our digital microscopy casework, coordinator of our ACVP student resident forum publication, and assistant in the CVM-wide holiday gingerbread competition. Danielle enjoys the opportunity to work with students, teaching coursework in necropsy, general pathology, and medical terminology. As a previous quality assurance auditor and trimming technician, Danielle has a great appreciation for the entire process of anatomic pathology and strives for quality in her endeavors and for her clients. Her intellectual curiosity and drive have made her a knowledgeable veterinary pathologist. Danielle's innate enthusiasm for pathology has been wonderful to see and be around. Danielle will be missed at UGA, but we are excited for her and for the opportunity to work with her in the future. Congratulations, Dr. Leesky. Our next awardee from the University of Guelph is Dr. Gary Lee. Gary is a citizen of Mauritius and Australia. He obtained his Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine and Surgery with high distinction from Murdoch University in Perth, Australia in 2014. Following that, Gary briefly practiced first opinion veterinary medicine in Australia and then completed a Master of Veterinary Clinical Sciences concurrent with a residency in anatomic pathology at Murdoch. Gary moved to Canada to join our department in September 2017 for the combined PhD clinical pathology residency training program. Not surprisingly, Gary had an impressive head start relative to even most anatomic pathology residents in anatomic pathology, and he also hit the ground running in the clinical pathology training program. His progress throughout the past 3 years has been exemplary. At this point, Gary is our senior resident who would have written phase 2 of the certifying exam in August 2020 had the pandemic not been, and he is our go-to person for most questions in diagnostic pathology. Gary is a walking encyclopedia of veterinary pathology, but he also thinks and rationalizes through diagnostic algorithms, always has excellent ideas regarding additional investigations, and is extremely helpful to junior and peer colleagues and senior faculty. Gary's enthusiasm for veterinary pathology is enormous. In his spare time, he participates in all available online rounds, works his way in the evenings through our archive of 40 plus years of cases from annual meetings, seeks out any extra slides coming from the wildlife zoo and toxicologic pathology areas, and anything else that would broaden his knowledge in veterinary pathology. As such, we consider Gary to exemplify a trainee utterly dedicated to excellence in diagnostic pathology. Congratulations, Dr. Lee. Next, from University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, Dr. Natalie Kirk. Dr. Natalie Kirk is one of our recently graduated anatomic pathology residents and is being nominated for her exemplary academic, diagnostic, and scholarly performance at the University of Illinois. While here in the residency, Natalie was dedicated and proficient in her involvement in research, and in addition to being an outstanding writer, leader, and mentor to her fellow resident mates and a diagnostician. Natalie initiated her research with a case series of mycobacterial infections in cats and submitted at least 2 grant applications to fund that project. Due to some research funding struggles, it's a serious struggle these days, amen, Natalie quickly moved into a project on evaluating hepatotoxicity secondary to itraconazole. She established an in vitro model for her toxicity studies on the effects of glutathione and alleviating itraconazole-induced toxicity on canine hepatocytes. She was awarded the 2019 ACVP Travel Award to the 2020 Experimental Biology Meeting and the 3rd place ACVP Young Investigator Award in Experimental Disease and Toxicologic and Industrial Pathology with this work. In addition to these research presentations, she also presented 2 case reports at MAVP meetings, 1 case report at poster at ACVP, and a case at the Neuropath Mystery session at ACVP. Lastly, she was successful at getting a case report of osteoblastoma in the distal humerus of a cat published in the Journal of Comparative Pathology in 2019, and has been working on 2 additional manuscripts based on diagnostic material in the VDL for publication, feline cutaneous mycobacteriosis and Langerhans cell histiocytosis in a dog. She is currently at the University of Minnesota completing PhD research in infectious diseases. We sincerely look forward to seeing how Dr. Kirk's continual dedication to research and pathology will contribute to the medical community. Congratulations, Dr. Kirk. Next, from University of Minnesota, Dr. Jennifer Bouchard. Dr. Bouchard is a 3rd-year clinical pathology resident at the University of Minnesota College of Veterinary Medicine, and her performance across all areas of her program has been exceptional. Jen joined our program in July of 2018 following the completion of a 1-year clinical pathology internship at Kansas State University. Her enthusiasm for veterinary clinical pathology was evident from the moment she joined us, and more impressively, her passion for growth and training is extraordinary. Without prompting, Jen is the first of us in the building and in front of the microscope each morning and the last to leave every night. With a mentality that is no doubt influenced by her experience as a veterinary clinician, Jen never turns down an end-of-day submission and is appropriately beloved by her clinical resident mates. She enthusiastically embraces her role as a diagnostician, and her passion to deliver timely, high-quality clinical pathology data could serve as a lesson for us all. In addition to her growth as a diagnostician, Jen has embraced her role as an instructor with robust enthusiasm. As an example, Jen took it upon herself to near single-handedly redesign our 4th-year senior clinical pathology rotation in response to COVID-19 limitations on in-person teaching. Finally, Jen's progress as a biomedical scholar may be the most impressive aspect of her residency. She joined our program with no notable research experience. However, in 2 years, she has successfully designed and implemented a clinical research project, which she will be presenting at this year's ACVP annual meeting, and prepared a successfully funded grant application to support this project. Jen is among the most driven and hardworking residents I have met. She takes nothing for granted and is an egoless trainee that selflessly pursues diagnostic excellence for the betterment of our patients and our profession. Her drive and passion will allow nothing less than greatness. Congratulations, Dr. Bouchard. Next, from University of Missouri, Dr. Catherine Shoemake. Dr. Shoemake completed a combined clinical pathology residency and master's program this summer at the University of Missouri, and we could not be prouder. She is an independent and thorough learner and investigator. This is especially evident in her master's work evaluating associations between environmental factors, hematologic parameters, and hemoparasite load in camelids. Additionally, Catherine has the notable distinction of being our first resident to present an ASVCP mystery slide or case discussion each year of her residency, and we are all in awe of her presentation abilities. Over the past 3 years, Catherine has developed into a skilled diagnostician and proactive instructor. She was instrumental in rapidly shifting our clinical instructional model online this past spring and excels at instructing veterinary students. Kindness and generosity are at the forefront of everything Catherine does. Despite a demanding residency and master's program, she always makes time for others. Catherine is the first to lend a hand to pathologists and techs alike on busy days in the lab or to mentor the junior residents. She does so efficiently, effectively, and graciously. Our faculty and staff unanimously agree that she has had a positive impact on our team and on everyone fortunate enough to cross her path. We are thrilled to have her stay on as a clinical instructor for the next year. Congratulations, Dr. Schumeg. Next up, from University of Pennsylvania, Dr. Michael Lund. Dr. Lund is an exceptionally talented third-year resident at the University of Pennsylvania. During his residency, Michael has become an accomplished diagnostician, teacher, and researcher. Comments about Michael from our faculty include, he is an exceptional veterinarian and teacher and cares very deeply about his cases. He's professional, dependable, and a hoot to work with. I wish that we could keep him forever. Another says, Michael is service-oriented and self-directed, taking ownership of his cases and his scholarship. He consistently goes out of his way to elevate the experience of those around him, including students, resident mates, and faculty. He embodies all the qualities of an Eagle Scout. He performed a complicated retrospective study that led the collaborating professor to note that he is diligent, attentive, smart, and careful. In addition to performing exceptionally well as a pathologist, Michael is kind and caring and a team player who goes out of his way for everyone on the staff, taking on tasks that are not glamorous and will not advance him professionally, but nonetheless must be done to keep the department's teaching and service missions on track. He deflects praise for these efforts, and it's clear that it makes him happy to see others and the department as a whole be successful. Lastly, Michael has managed to keep up with all that he does professionally while also keeping on top of his responsibilities as a new father with a baby at home. We are happily waiting to see all the successes that Michael will be enjoying as his training finishes here. He will better our profession in so many ways. Congratulations, Dr. Lund. Next, University of Prince Edward Island, Dr. Brody Reinhardt. Dr. Reinhardt is from New Brunswick. He received a Bachelor of Science degree in 2011 from the University of New Brunswick and a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree in 2015 from the University of Prince Edward Island. He worked in small animal practice for 4 years, then returned to the University of Prince Edward Island to start a clinical pathology residency and a Master of Veterinary Science graduate program in 2019. Dr. Reinhardt has a strong work ethic and is developing excellent diagnostic skills with particular strength in cytology. He's progressing well on his research project and has submitted a poster and a mystery case for the ACVP annual meeting and has enjoyed teaching endocrinology to students. Dr. Reinhardt is interested in exotic and wildlife pathology, and his contributions in this area have been very helpful. Dr. Reinhardt is also technologically knowledgeable, and with the pandemic suddenly demanding online rounds, the clinical pathology group relied on him to orchestrate these. They have to ensure he has time for clinical pathology training, not just meeting demands as a handy IT person. Dr. Reinhardt has graciously taken this in stride, illustrating his professional and helpful nature. His other attributes include determination, a sense of humor, and willingness to embrace constructive critique. Congratulations, Dr. Reinhardt. Next, from University of Tennessee, Dr. Nathan Hoggard. Dr. Hoggard began his residency in 2018 after graduating from North Carolina State University with a GPA of 3.97. He's consistently excelled in every aspect of anatomic pathology training. He's an excellent diagnostician whose fascination with the molecular mechanisms of disease has inspired unique and interesting research projects. He has an interest in bone pathology that inspired a project looking at medullary bone in male birds. He also arranged an externship to learn about medical device pathology at W.L. Gore & Associates, which was unfortunately canceled due to the pandemic. Nathan understands the importance of collaboration and tirelessly pursues contacts far and wide to improve his ability to study topics that interest him. He passed the Phase 1 ACVP exam and consistently performs very well on our biannual mock board exams. I have no doubt that he will soon be a boarded pathologist and productive researcher. He has also been an outstanding mentor to our new residents, especially during these difficult times of distance learning. During his third year of residency, he's been a residency liaison as well as a senior resident, managing and signing out biopsy and necropsy cases on his own. As in all things, Nathan has excelled in these roles. We look forward to seeing his career continue its upward trajectory. Congratulations, Dr. Hoggard. Next, University of Wisconsin-Madison, Dr. Erica Hoffeld, pardon me. Dr. Hoffeld's intellectual curiosity and inquisitive and critical eye propel her to the depths of understanding disease mechanisms and to excel in pathology. A keen observer of all things pathological, she also quests for the perfect words and phrases to describe gross and histologic marvels, a poet, if you will, with all the while lighting up a room with her wit, cheerful disposition, and if you are lucky, soothing singing voice. When attending presentations given by Dr. Hoffeld, it becomes clear that she has an uncanny ability to know her audience, to anticipate trains of thought, provide background and context, and resolve points of confusion before they become barriers to understanding. Complex topics are rendered accessible through her knowledge, empathy, and skill. Students and other residents find her a delightful and compelling instructor and mentor, and it is not uncommon for her student evaluations to say things like, hire her as a lecturer. Her knowledge, drive, expertise, and diligence has made her one of the very best residents that we have had the pleasure of training. Congratulations, Dr. Hoffeld. Next up, from Virginia Polytechnic Institute, Dr. Vanessa Oakes. Dr. Oakes is an anatomic pathology resident in our combined PhD program and is expected to complete her program and earn her doctorate in 2021. She's been dedicated to biomedical and infectious disease research as evidenced by her enthusiastic work spanning her undergraduate years to the present. Recently, she's played a key role in the identification of an emerging infectious agent in southwestern Virginia with important public health implications for the region. In order to do this, she's had to master multiple techniques, doing extra training in the realm of hematology and cytology. Moreover, she's presented her work at regional and national scientific meetings, winning awards along the way, the 2019 AAVLD ACVP Diagnostic Pathology Travel Award for her project Tyleria orientalis Ikeda genotype is in cattle in southwestern Virginia. Her work, both doctoral and for her specialty training, has resulted in multiple publications such as Tyleria orientalis Ikeda genotype in cattle, Virginia, USA, published in Emerging Infectious Disease in 2019. She is also dedicated to teaching with extensive experience teaching veterinary students necropsy, histology, and even clinical pathology topics, cytology and hematology. Dr. Oakes is a diligent and meticulous resident whose strong work ethic and intellectual curiosity are belied by her easygoing personality. She's a pleasure to work with, and we expect great things from her. Congratulations, Dr. Oakes. From Washington State University, Dr. Jessica Wong. Dr. Wong joined the anatomic pathology residency and PhD program at Washington State University after graduating from the University of Georgia with her DVM degree in 2015. Jessica has extremely strong work ethic, intelligence, academic curiosity, leadership skills, and is driven to get the best out of herself and those around her. These qualities have not only led her to becoming an astute and efficient diagnostician, they've motivated her to surpass our expectations by publishing 2 case reports, performing publication quality investigation on several other cases, presenting at 3 national international conferences, organizing resident histopathology rounds, and passing phase 1 of the ACBP certification exam despite losing childcare support weeks before the exam due to the COVID pandemic. In addition to her responsibilities as a pathology resident, Jessica has simultaneously advanced her PhD research project, evaluating the mechanisms of dissemination and immune evasion in the Lyme disease spirochete during mammalian infection, under the guidance of her PhD advisor, Dr. Troy Bankhead. While balancing the demands of the residency and family life, Jessica has been able to maintain a 3.9 GPA and passed her preliminary exam with apparent ease. Based on her exceptional academic performance, she's been awarded a prestigious ARCS Foundation Scholarship, an Immunology and Infectious NIH T32 Fellowship, the Lieutenant Colonel Ralph USAF and wife Ruth Murray Fowler Emerging Diseases Graduate Student Scholarship, and a Ponson Fellowship. Like many women during the pandemic, Jessica was without childcare for her 1.5-year-old daughter and spent months trying to be a full-time mom and still advance her PhD in pathology training. Throughout this period, Jessica demonstrated grit, resilience, and dedication to both her family and her profession. These intangible qualities and her academic performance are just a few of the reasons we are so proud to have Jessica represent our program and why we're confident she will have an outstanding career as a board-certified pathologist. Congratulations, Dr. Wong. All right. Congratulations to all of our awardees. Job well done, especially in an extra tough year. So next up, I'm going to present the Journal Award, and this award is given each year to a manuscript that, in our minds, really does a fantastic job of presenting a very applicable type of study, something that's very applicable to a broad variety of audiences. Typically, it's a diagnostic pathology type manuscript, although not always, but it's something that in terms of criteria for this, it needs to be practical, it needs to be broadly applicable to a wide variety of pathologists, and it has to have fabulous pictures. And this manuscript definitely ticked all of those boxes. So the manuscript award this year goes to Dr. Leah Johnson, and it's for the paper Lead Intoxication in Free-Ranging Bald Eagles. And if you'll let me share my screen. All right. Are you seeing this?
We are.
Yes. All right. Awesome. Sorry, I've got two screens going. All right. So, so as you can all see, so this is a fabulous study where they looked at 93 bald eagles with severe lead intoxication, and really everyone should for sure. I know we've all read this this paper, but it's extremely well done. And as you can see, the images are absolutely gorgeous, and it's got the most important organ in the body, which is definitely not the heart. So it's got lovely pictures, beautiful histopath. It's very, very practical for diagnostic pathologists. It appeals to a lot of us and does just a great job of showing the spectrum of lesions that are present in this condition. So congratulations, Dr. Johnson, and all of your co-authors on that manuscript. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of work.
Yes, congratulations, Leah. I'm glad you could make it. Leah's here from Australia, which is actually tomorrow morning.
Good morning.
The next award will be the Service Award, and Dr. Uzal will be presenting that.
Yep. So it's a pleasure and an honor to present the Davis-Thompson Foundation Barbara Jean Thompson Service Award. This is an award that's given to somebody that has provided exceptional services to the foundation, and this is the case of Dr. Vinnie Carreira. Vinnie, congratulations. Vinnie is a scientific director of pathology at Janssen Research and Development, Johnson & Johnson. In his role, he heads a molecular pathology team and supports drug discovery and development projects. Vinnie and his team provide scientific input in the design, conduct, and interpretation of experiments that focus on characterizing the safety of novel therapeutics and or understanding modes of action for toxicity in non-clinical studies. He also provides investigative guidance on scientific leadership in pathology to local drug discovery teams, identify and lead collaborative mechanistic efforts with internal, external consortia, and academic investigators. Originally from Latin America, Vinnie was born in Brazil to Portuguese parents and retains dual nationality for the two countries. Academically, he completed formal residency training in veterinary pathology at Michigan State University. He has a DVM and a PhD in molecular genetics and environmental toxicology from the University of Cincinnati. Before joining Janssen Research and Development, he worked as a senior pathologist at VetPath Services in Ohio, where he spent almost 5 years serving as a study pathologist for non-clinical safety assessment studies, and he was at MPI Research prior to that as part of his training. Vinnie is a diplomat of the American College of Veterinary Pathologists, as well as a diplomat of the American Board of Toxicology. He's very passionate about science and toxicologic pathology. He's an engaged member of the Society of Toxicology, Society of Toxicologic Pathology, American College of Veterinary Pathology, and an American College of Toxicology. Vinny volunteers as a scientific reviewer for many peer-reviewed journals, and he's a productive member in several committees in professional toxicology and toxicologic pathology organizations within and outside North America. He is a member of the board of directors of the Davis-Thompson Foundation for the Advances of Veterinary Pathology, where he served as the managing editor for its newsletter, as well as the editor-in-chief of the Diagnostic exercise publications for almost a decade. Vinny is avidly invested in training and career development and outreach, and he is the chair of the Career Development and Outreach Committee of the STP. Vinny, congratulations and thank you for your service.
Congratulations, Vinny.
And I think this is back to you, Annette.
Yes, I'm unmuting and doing my video. The diagnostic exercise, as you heard before, has been around for approximately 10 years. And the winner for this year is Dr. Nicholas Streitzenberger and Diagnostic Exercise 146. Which is bovine bronchopneumonia by bovine respiratory syncytial virus with secondary bacterial infection. Nicholas Streitzenberger obtained his DVM in 2012 and his PhD in 2020, both degrees from the National University of La Plata, Argentina. His PhD was on bovine respiratory disease in feedlot cattle, with particular interest in viral infections. Nicholas is currently doing his pathology residency in anatomic pathology at the California Animal Health and Food Safety San Bernardino Laboratory, University of California, Davis, under the supervision of Dr. Francisco Uzal. And I would like to congratulate Nicholas in particular, because that's kind of almost where I started my residency, except I was in LA County and the same people, but we worked with the same people. So congratulations. And the award, I do want to mention that this award is sponsored by the Latin American group and will be mailed, as will all other awards, to you individually by the company that is engraving them. All right, this is our last award for the evening. So I would like to thank everybody, and I hope everyone will join me in saying congratulations to all our awardees. I'd love to thank you for joining us. We'll see you next year.